They say people judge what they don't understand. They see a face, a body, a shape, and they think they've figured out the story. But sometimes the people you underestimate the most are the ones who can end your world in seconds. This is the story of Monique Harris, a kind-hearted, plus-size black woman from Atlanta who spent her life helping others, smiling through pain, and believing the world was good until one night proved otherwise. Monique wasn't a fighter. She wasn't rich. She wasn't famous. To most people, she was just that big lady who ran a small bakery on Maple Street. But behind her warmth and laughter was a past that most people would never guess, especially her husband's, because her husband, Derrick Harris, wasn't an ordinary man. Before settling down with Monique, Derrick had spent 12 grueling years as a Navy SEAL, trained in survival, combat, and protection. But when a ruthless street gang targeted Monique one stormy evening, mocking her size and trying to rob her at closing time, they didn't realize they'd just picked the wrong woman because when you mess with a SEAL's wife, you wake the warrior inside him. This story will remind you, never underestimate kindness and never judge strength by appearance. The rain had been coming down hard that night. Thunder rolled like distant drums as Monique locked the front door of Sweet Haven Bakery. The glow from the closed sign reflected in a puddle on the cracked pavement outside. She pulled her coat tighter. It had been a long day. 3 birthday cakes, 2 catering orders, and an hour of cleaning up flour that her teenage assistant had spilled everywhere. Her feet ached, but her heart felt full. She loved her work. Baking gave her peace. As she walked to her car, a blue Honda Civic parked behind the shop, Monique's mind wandered to Derrick. He'd been distant lately, quiet. She knew he was struggling to adapt to civilian life after years in the Navy, but he always told her she was his anchor. "Love you, baby," she whispered to herself, unlocking the car. Then she froze. A shadow moved near the dumpster. Monique's pulse jumped. She squinted through the rain. 3 figures stepped out from behind the bins, hooded, tall, their faces half covered. Her heart began to race. "Yo, what's good, lady?" one of them said, stepping closer. His voice carried a casual menace. "You the one who owns that cake shop?" Monique tried to stay calm. "Yes, sir, that's me. We're closed right now, but..." The man chuckled. Monique's breath caught. She took a step back, rain dripping from her curls. "Please, I don't want trouble. You can take whatever you want." "Oh, we plan to," the leader sneered, stepping closer. "But first, we gonna have a little fun. What you doing out here all alone, huh? Ain't nobody gonna miss you for a while." Monique's chest tightened. Her voice quivered. "Derrick, there's some men here." There was a long pause. Then a tone she hadn't heard in years filled his voice. Steady, cold, controlled. "Stay on the line. Don't hang up." One of the gang members grabbed her wrist and snatched the phone away. "Who's this?" he said, mocking. Miles away, Derrick's truck engine roared to life. His knuckles gripped the steering wheel. His jaw clenched tight. Every instinct he'd trained to bury came flooding back. The rhythm of mission prep, the calm before chaos. He knew his wife's voice. He'd heard fear in people before, but never in her. And that silence after the phone cut out told him everything. He was already on his way. Meanwhile, Monique backed up against her car. Her heart thudded as the men closed in. "Please," she whispered. "I don't have much money. There's just the register." The leader, a tall man with a gold tooth, chuckled. "You think we after cash? Nah, sweetheart, we've been watching you. Nice car, nice ring." Tears stung Monique's eyes. She wasn't weak. She just didn't know what to do. Her body shook as one of them snatched her purse and threw it open, spilling her keys, wallet, and a photo of her and Derrick on their wedding day. "Cute," the leader said, picking up the photo. "He looked tough, but he ain't here now." "Sure he is," the leader mocked. "And I'm the president." He flicked the photo to the ground. "Now get in the car, lady." Monique's heart slammed against her ribs. She thought fast. "Please, don't hurt me. Just let me pray first." The men hesitated, glancing at each other. "Pray," one said. "Go ahead, church lady. Ain't gonna help you." Rain hammered the pavement as headlights cut through the night. Derrick's truck screeched into the alley behind Sweet Haven. The former SEAL scanned the area in seconds. The tire tracks, the open purse, the smashed phone. His pulse slowed, his breathing steady. 3 targets, he muttered. "Armed, maybe not. Leaders confident. Others follow." Three men stood near his wife, one grabbing her arm, another holding a crowbar. Derrick didn't hesitate. He stepped into the dim light and spoke, voice low and controlled. Let her go. The gang spun around. Who the hell are you? Derrick's expression didn't change. I said, let her go. The leader laughed. What, this your husband? You serious? Derrick moved like lightning. 2 steps forward, 1 strike. The man's wrist snapped, the crowbar clattering to the ground. The second lunged. Derrick pivoted, elbowed him in the throat, then slammed him against the wall. Monique gasped. The men were strong, but Derrick was something else. Years of combat training, reflexes sharp as glass. The leader stumbled back, clutching his hand. Yo, this dude crazy. Derrick's eyes burned. You touched my wife. The leader pulled a knife, desperate. Stay back, man. I'll cut you. Derrick took a step forward, calm. You won't get the chance. Then he moved again. Quick, precise, lethal. The blade flashed under the streetlight, a glint of danger cutting through the rain. But Derrick Harris had seen worse. He'd faced ambushes in Afghanistan, rescued hostages under fire, survived storms far deadlier than this. He waited, watching the man's hand tremble. Then, in one precise motion, he stepped in, twisted the attacker's wrist, and drove his knee into the man's stomach. You like picking on women? Derrick hissed, voice low but shaking with fury. You think she's weak because of her size, because she's kind? The man tried to speak, but Derrick tightened his grip. That's my wife, Derrick growled, leaning close. And I don't let anyone hurt my family. He released him just long enough for the gang leader to slump to the ground, coughing. Derrick took a slow step forward. Then remember this moment. Next time you see a woman alone, think about what could be waiting behind her. They didn't wait for another word. The 3 men bolted down the alley, their footsteps echoing into the night. Derrick turned immediately to Monique. She was shaking, rain mixing with tears on her cheeks. Baby, she whispered. You came. He reached for her, pulling her into his arms. Always, he said softly. You're my mission, Monique. The police arrived 10 minutes later, their lights painting the alley red and blue. One of the officers, a young man with nervous eyes, took their statements while the paramedics checked Monique for bruises. You're lucky, the officer said quietly. We've had reports of that gang hitting small shops lately. Usually ends a lot worse than this. Derrick didn't answer, he just nodded. When the police left, the couple sat in the truck together. The rain had finally stopped. Monique looked at him, eyes soft. You went full Navy SEAL tonight, didn't you? He gave a small, tired smile. Guess I did. Does it ever go away? She asked gently. That part of you? Derrick stared out the windshield. News of the attempted attack spread fast. A local reporter came by Sweet Haven Bakery trying to get Monique's side of the story, but she refused to talk on camera. She didn't want fame. She wanted peace. Still, her regular customers noticed something different about her. She stood taller. She smiled wider. And when people made offhand comments about her weight or joked about how much she baked, she didn't shrink anymore. One afternoon, Derrick stopped by the shop while she was frosting cupcakes. He leaned against the counter watching her work. You know, he said, you never told me what you said to those guys before I got there. Monique laughed softly. I told them my husband was a Navy SEAL. Derrick chuckled. And they didn't believe you, huh? He shook his head. Not them, but the world's full of people who judge before they see. You just gotta keep being you. That's how you win. She smiled. Guess we both fight battles in different ways. He nodded. Yeah, yours are sweeter though. She threw a bit of frosting at him playfully, and for the first time in days, they both laughed. Spring came early that year. Business at Sweet Haven doubled. People from all over town stopped by, not just for cupcakes, but for the woman who'd survived the unthinkable and still welcomed everyone with a smile. One afternoon, a little girl came into the bakery with her mother. She looked up shyly at Monique and said, My teacher said you're a hero. Monique knelt down, smiling warmly. Oh, sweetheart, I'm no hero. My husband just protected me. The girl shook her head. No, you're brave too. Monique blinked back tears. Thank you, baby. That means a lot. When the girl left, Derrick walked in, wearing his favorite gray hoodie. Who's making you cry now? He teased gently. Monique laughed. Just kids saying sweet things. He put an arm around her waist, pulling her close. You deserve every good thing, Moni. Derrick frowned. Don't ever say that. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and if those punks couldn't see that, that's their loss. She smiled. You always know what to say. He kissed her forehead. You know what to bake. They both laughed again. Their love and joy warmed the bakery like the oven's heat, strong, true, and undaunted. That night, as Monique locked up the bakery, she paused by the window. The neon Sweet Haven sign glowed softly against the dark. She thought about everything that had happened: the fear, the fight, the healing. The world hadn't changed. There were still cruel people, still danger. But she had changed, and so had Derrick. They didn't live in fear anymore. They lived in gratitude, a powerful lesson for all of us. Monique turned off the lights, stepped outside, and breathed in the cool evening air. Derrick waited by the truck, his hand already reaching for hers. As they drove home, the city lights faded behind them. Sometimes, life reminds you that appearances lie. Strength doesn't always look like muscle, and courage doesn't always wear a uniform. And that's the story of Monique and Derrick Harris, a woman judged for her size and a man underestimated for his silence. They showed the world that real power doesn't need to shout. It simply acts when it matters most. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one.